Sure. Now, something very exciting and a bit different for us. We have some fantastic community members who are riding a ridiculously long way. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that. I'm very impressed. I'd probably get 5 minutes down the road. But Adam and Kukame are riding, starting tomorrow, from Melbourne all the way to Sydney. So it's really awesome to have them here today to share with you a bit more about their ride and why they're doing it. I'll leave it to you.
Is it this button here?
Yeah, so just the
arrows?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nat. So yeah, it's a real honour to be able to talk to you today about something which is really very, very passionate and very important for both of us. So my name's Adam, this is Kukame. And so, yeah, as Nat said, tomorrow we are doing a bike ride from Melbourne, starting here at the RCH, all the way to Sydney. And we're doing it for a cause which is very important to our hearts, and that's NF2. And so the ride has been several months of planning, and over the next 5 minutes, we're going to talk to you about all the details about why we're doing the ride and what the ride will involve. And the main reason we are doing it, or the only reason, is because of this incredible human being on the screen, whose name is Hannah, who is my sister and Kukame's wife. And I'll pass over to Kukame to talk about Hannah a little more.
Sure. Hi everyone, thanks for having us. It's pretty exciting to be here today. So Hannah's on the left of the screen there. So our NF journey started about 3.5 years ago when Hannah was diagnosed. We live in Perth. Adam lives here in Melbourne, but Hannah and I live in Perth. And she got an incidental finding, and then we sort of went in this journey that might be familiar to a lot of people here, where we're starting to understand how to read scans like this on the right. We're starting to sit in lots of rooms like this regularly, getting hearing tested, trying to understand what it means, talking to the experts in these worlds. This is Royal Perth Hospital. It's a little bit older than this hospital, but the people are really good, and the care over there is really great. So that's Hannah having one of her regular audio tests. We also have the eye test. So Han has some tumours on her oculomotor nerve, which is affecting the operation of her left eye. So we regularly go down to the Lions Eye Institute and look there. And then obviously we've got a schedule of MRIs that are really regular. So these things for us, when we first started, were totally fine. Never even been in this world, and then suddenly these things are now normalised. I think Hannah is up to her 12th MRI, which for us seems like a lot. We've only been going for 3 years, but this is a really familiar sort of thing for us. Now, over in Perth, one of the biggest things that, we found out we had NF2, and then suddenly it was like, what? It wasn't NF2, it was neurofibromatosis type 2. What's that? And luckily we had a friend, we've got a good friend who's a doctor who helped us through that initial stage. But really, we were just put out there and we had no idea what to do. Like, we were literally, what does this mean? And so we had to start to work out how to actually coordinate this thing. And over in Perth, in WA, we don't have a CTF presence, we don't have a support coordinator, we don't have a centralised anything. So we got referred to a doctor who started talking to us all about what we were going to do about the NF. But then she said, we were sort of looking there puzzled and said, has anyone actually explained to you what this is? And we're like, no. So we went through this process of that. So it's been a really steep learning curve for us over this last few years. I've had a lot of support from family. Family are really important. Friends, obviously. This is Hannah's family. Adam's wearing the nice shirt on the left here. On the right, sorry. Mum, Dad, Holly, and Hannah on the right. But like I say, we don't have a presence like this over there. WA is a long way away. It's a long way away, and it's quite a small population, so we're finding we come here. We've got some family here, like Adam. And so one of the things that we've been doing over there is to really think about how can we raise awareness for NF and maybe raise some money as well. And we thought that if we just did it over there, no one would really know about it, so we decided to come to Melbourne and ride from the 2 biggest cities, and we're going to go through Canberra as well. So this is our way of kind of saying, right, let's try and do something. We know the kind of the diagnosis where they decide it's watchful waiting. So you go and they say everything's great, do nothing. And I'm like, yeah, but we want to do something, and you can't do anything because it's good when nothing's happening. So this is us trying to do something. So let's talk about what we're doing. That's me in the middle, Adam on the right, and our friend Carsten, who's a doctor over in Perth, he's joining us as well on the right, and Adam's going to tell you a bit about what it actually is.
Yeah. So as Kooks was saying, we were trying to decide what's something that we can do that's positive, and we love riding bikes, and so we decided let's ride from Melbourne to Sydney. And so this happened in Perth over the summer, I think, around Christmas time. The three of us were sitting around, and I mean, it does sound crazy, and I am a little bit scared, to be honest. But we've been training very hard, so I think we're going to be fine. So, yeah, as I said, so tomorrow we leave at 8 a.m. from outside this building, and we will be cycling via many small towns along the way. We cycle through Bonnie Doon, Beechworth, up over Thredbo, down through Cooma into Canberra, and we have a night off in Canberra. And you can see here along the way we're going to be doing 1,200 kilometres. So there'll be a few sore bums by the end of it, I imagine. 14,000 metres of vertical climbing, and especially
Mount Everest is 8,800. So just to put it in perspective.
That's a good, I like that.
And in Perth, the biggest hill is 300 metres.
So his training has been quite difficult. He's had to go up the same hill maybe 20 times just to get the training. So, yeah, so there's been months and months of planning. We've got an amazing team. So that's Hannah on the right and my sister Holly on the left. And so this is them planning meals for each day, where we're going to be staying. So we've had to organise the accommodation, all our rest stops, all our food. So we've got 2 vans which are going to be following us, which will be driven by Hannah, Holly and our friends as well. We've got a few friends coming. We've had to do a lot of training, so we've got our personalised kits here. You can see what are you NF2, and we've ridden over 5,000 kilometres just to get to this point, and I think we're ready. Yep. And yeah,
I guess the thing too, the reason we called it "What Are You NF2" was that's the point of the thing, is actually saying what is it. We had a fundraiser in Perth last weekend. We had over 100 people turn up. And everyone was kind of there for the same reason, but no one actually knew what it was. So we're actually saying that we're posing a question, and then hopefully we're going to try and give people information along the way. So part of that has not only been raising funds and doing a bike ride, which is fun, it's been doing an awareness campaign. So as part of this, I've written to 35 politicians, every senator in WA, our local member, the Prime Minister. We drive through his brand new seat. So we're doing this thing, and we're really asking for 2 things. One is we're lobbying for funds to try and put a support coordinator in WA and South Australia. It's really great we've got them here, but we would really, really appreciate it, those communities over there. And for the government, that's a relatively small expense. The second thing is we're lobbying for bevacizumab or Avastin to try and get on the PBS. So we know that is a drug that has been shown to have effects with people with NF. Hannah actually is on a course of it at the moment through Royal Perth Hospital, funding it. She literally had an infusion yesterday. We had an hour or 2 at home, and then we got on the plane and came here, so she's pretty knackered. But that's something that we're writing and making all these politicians aware of, and we're getting a really good response. We haven't had any commitments yet, but politicians are engaging with the issue. It's being referred to health ministers, so that's something that's really exciting. We had a farewell fundraiser in Perth. We went lawn bowling, and we had 100 people turn up, and we raised $5,300 on the night for that. All of this money goes straight to the CTF. We had fun with the capes, wearing them. Got a bit of a media campaign going, so this one on the right is in the Australian Medical Association Journal in Perth, so that was really great to get into that forum. Adam's in the local rag up in Moreland. We've got hoping to get some radio and TV over the next little while. You can follow us on Instagram and following these hashtags there. So we're up to 170 followers, which for something that didn't exist about 2 or 3 months ago, we're really excited by that. So please follow that. We're going to be putting lots and lots of updates and all sorts of paraphernalia on there. And the important thing is the fundraising. So in the last little while, we're now up to, that number's gone up since yesterday, we've now cracked $32,000 as part of this fundraising campaign, which is really great. So that's real money that we hope can make a real difference. But I think the really important thing is we've had I think it's more than 230 different people or groups donating to it. So thinking about they're putting money in their networks and their families. So we feel like this awareness campaign is just growing and growing and growing. So if you feel like sharing this, that'd be really good. All the money's just going straight to CTF. So that's what we're doing. It's really great to be here. We have never met anyone with NF2. That's how isolated we are in Perth. So there might be someone here who's got it, which would be a bit cool for us. Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks to John and the team for having us here today. It's really great. Cheers.
So much. Madness, but also madness. Good luck.